G'day all, it's Colin from PC TLC and thanks for joining me. In this video we're going to be having a look around Ubuntu Cinnamon, known currently as Cinnamon Remix, hopefully to become in the future an official flavour of Ubuntu and one of the derivatives. So let's have a look at the web page first. And I was having a look around the web page at the Contact Us, the blog and about and all that, and I just couldn't find exactly what I was looking for as to who is the lead developer of this, and I'm pretty sure I know who it is, but I just wanted to know for sure. So what I did find in, I think it's FOSS, at the bottom of the main page here, ubuntucinnamon.org, it's got a link to its FOSS talking about the Cinnamon desktop. If we have a look further down here, Ubuntu Cinnamon website under construction is a new Linux distribution that brings Cinnamon desktop to Ubuntu distribution. Joshua Peisach, I'm not quite sure. I probably butchered that. Sorry, Josh. So young Joshua talks with us on BigDaddyLinux Live. He's only a young guy. He likes to have his say. He's probably been muted by Big Daddy a couple of times, but yeah, you can tell he's got passion and he just wants to talk about what he does, and that's fair enough. And there's no better way there's no words louder than the actions of actually producing your own derivative. And from what Martin Wimpress was saying, there's so much work involved to be able to get yourself as an Ubuntu flavour, and there's a lot of hard work to be done. It may look as simple as just adding on a desktop, but there's a lot more involved in the background from what Martin Wimpress was saying. So Joshua is the lead developer for the project and is being helped by other volunteer contributors, the ex-developer of the now discontinued Ubuntu Gnome project, and some members from Ubuntu team are also advising the team to help with development. That's really cool. Young Joshua, I'm pretty sure he's only something like 13 years old, 14 years old or somewhere around there. To be able to achieve this at that age is good. And, you know, I've been following Ferran for a long time as well, and he does some good work as well. So hopefully Joshua's following the same path and he's building a Cinnamon base on top of Ubuntu. There's nothing in between except Ubuntu from Debian, of course. So let's have a quick look around. So it's a typical Cinnamon desktop. So if you're not familiar with Linux and you're not sure of how the desktops themselves, Cinnamon desktop was a fork of, I think, the Gnome 2 possibly, or it could be a fork of Gnome 3 and made into Cinnamon. I don't know, I get lost with the forks and what's what. I don't get involved too deeply with all that stuff, but I'm sure somebody will tell me in comments exactly what it is. But I quite like that the theme he sort of got going on here is not bad. It's got sort of like a cinnamony look about it. That's quite good. I like the icons here, and let's have a look at the settings. A quick look at the settings. Oh yeah, that if you push that up there and it only goes half, then you have to go to where is it? Window tiling and maximize instead of tile when dragging a window to the top edge, and we're right to go. So let's have a look at the themes, see what he's got running here. So he's got themes called Kimo. So I haven't heard of that one before. I don't know if it's something Joshua has made or somebody has done for him, or it's been around for a while and I'm unaware of it. That's quite possible as well. So yes, he's got that theme going. Kimo Dark, Kimo Dark. So this is all the Kimo Dark. So it doesn't look too bad. So we've got the Linux Mint menu here. The way in which Linux Mint works is the menu is reminiscent of Windows 7 pretty much in the way that it looks, the way that it functions, like visually, if you just go to your left-hand side and open the menu, you've got like a traditional style desktop, no doubt about it. So your calendar's on the right-hand side. You've got a nice looking calendar there. You've got your date and time settings there. And you've got your Bluetooth settings, your internet settings, speaker settings. You can go to your sound settings from here. Battery there. You've got some battery options there. Brightness, keyboard backlight. Oh, I didn't even know it had that. No, my keyboard backlight is off in the BIOS itself, so that's not going to function for me, that thing, as you can see. Well, it's trying to, but yeah, I don't have that running. And then you've got the link to the power settings. Now, one thing, I did look at this. I've been looking at it for pretty much over the week when I've had a chance. Linux Quest put up a video and he was talking about panel, what was it? Panel layouts, and I didn't even realize that was in here, to be honest. In here he's given some panel layouts, Windows XP inspired layout, Windows 7, Mac OS, Ubuntu Unity, left panel widescreen layout. So let's have a look at some of those. So we'll go for traditional, click OK, and it'll say, do you want to change this system default to traditional? We say yes. Put in our password. And then Cinnamon will restart, like so. And please reboot your computer if you have any trouble. Okay, so now you can see that the panel's gone a bit smaller in size. We've got the same menu, so all it's done is gone smaller in size. Now, I'm not sure if the window buttons were here before. Maybe they weren't. I didn't really take any notice because sometimes the traditional way is to just have your launcher, and then your launcher also becomes the open window. So that this one's got Windows buttons. So we'll eventually probably go back to that and have a look. Panel layout again. So let's go back to there, and let's just try out all of these. Redmond 7. So that's been updated to Redmond 7, and as you can see, there's no Windows buttons here. The open window is the icon itself. So you've got some previews there as well. And also you can see you've got a smaller calendar there. You don't have a big long date and time across there. So that's changed as well. I didn't have a look on the previous one what that was. Cupertino. So there you have a Cupertino, updated to Cupertino. And then you've got a dock here, which would be... so the menu is always the same. The menu doesn't change. Then you've got the long date here and time. Got users there. So there's slightly differences. It's a slight difference in the panel and what's on there and how it's structured a little bit. Also on the Cupertino we have Windows buttons on the left hand side. I'm not sure if that was the case with the other ones. Pretty sure Windows Redmond wouldn't have been. Now this one here is your plank dock. So if you hold down the control key and right click, you get preferences options, and you could do an icon zoom. So then you got icon zoom, or you can turn that off and there's no zoom. You can adjust the amount of zoom. I don't know what the default one was there. It's probably a little bit more than that, probably 150 maybe. Or you can turn that off. You can adjust the size of your icon. So there's quite a few adjustments you can make to the docks there. You can add these docklets. There's an applications menu there as well. So you got, so if we close that, we've got menu. Now that's right click, not a left click. I don't know why that would be. And then you've got trash. Takes you straight to trash. Now if you want to get rid of your docklets, you can just drag it out and it's gone, like so. So that was Cupertino. Let's try the Unity desktop. Okay, we've changed to the Unity desktop. And once again, they're just using the buttons here for the open windows. Nothing really else up there on the panel except for these ones here. And you've got quadrants set there. Okay. Now I'm not sure what the widescreen one does. So that is the widescreen. Problems during Cinnamon startup. Alright, so the widescreen has everything on the left-hand panel, including the calendar and all. So that's how the widescreen works. And let's have a look at files is on the right-hand side, the buttons. And then we have GNOME 2. So Cinnamon layout user interface updated to GNOME 2, and GNOME 2 has the traditional two-panel layout. One panel up the top, your open windows down the bottom, show desktop there, rubbish bin in the corner, all your different workspaces here, calendar up top and so forth, so all that stuff. A couple of launchers here, plus this quick menu to places, and then your normal menu. Now I don't know whether we have quadrants and all that. Yes, we do. Yep. Okay. Buttons on the right. So that's quite interesting. Some simple panel layouts there for somebody who wants to quickly change their layout. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the default layout. Updated to default. I always like it when there's a default setting. So it's always good to be able to take everything back to what it was originally. So the default setting does have the buttons, which I suspected. No Windows buttons here and buttons on the right. Okay. And it doesn't have the user icon here either. So since this is a new desktop environment to be added to the Ubuntu flavors, probably eventually if it gets there, looking good so far. Let's have a look at actually what's installed, because it's always good to look at what a new desktop environment is offering. And probably I'd think just the standard stuff. So accessories, yes, you got Plank there. So you got, that's probably all your usuals. It offers disks, which most desktops are doing now under the Ubuntu banner anyway, offering disks. So a couple of games there. Graphics, you've got GIMP by default, G-Thumb image viewer, Internet, Firefox and Thunderbird, full LibreOffice, Writer, Math, Impress, Draw, Calc. So what was the one under here? Math, and then you had under graphics, Draw. Okay. And then you got LibreOffice Calc, which is like Excel. You've got Impress, which is similar to PowerPoint, and LibreOffice Writer, which is like an Office Word. Math and Draw, I'm not quite sure where they fit in. I think it's sort of, Draw would be more like just drawing, I think. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look, and we'll look at the version as well. I've never used LibreOffice Draw, to be honest. Yeah, so LibreOffice Draw is a vector graphics editor. It can be used to create complicated figures using shape tools and so forth. So that's what that's for. So about LibreOffice, let's have a look, 6.4.2.2. And you got a Trill document viewer and calendar there. Sound and video, you got Celluloid, which is been renamed and forked off by from MPV, I believe. Simple screen recorder I installed. Under admin, we have gparted still installed after install, htop, the panel layout, printers, power statistics, your software updater, synaptic package manager, system monitor, terminal, users and groups. And then you'll have your usual Cinnamon preferences there, which is probably everything in the Cinnamon settings. Shortcut to all your places. And your recent files. And you've got your quit, logout, and lock screen. So it's good to see he's got the Synaptic Package Manager there, because let's have a look at software. Now, a lot of the software now with all the Ubuntu derivatives, very hard to find software that's from the Ubuntu repositories. Now, I just want a simple screen recorder, which I installed by sudo apt install simple screen recorder. Now, that's right if you know the name of the application. Just type that and it will install. Sometimes I just don't want to install a snap for some things. I just want to keep it simple. So if I was to look for simple screen recorder in the software, so this one's installed. Because this is installed, it's showing up. But if you were looking for the one from the Ubuntu Focal Universe, if it's not installed, you probably won't find it. You'll probably find just the Snap ones instead. That's from Snap. I don't know, I didn't try, but I have tried on the other ones. It couldn't find it. It's normally the Snaps. So that's where Synaptic Package Manager can be used. Synaptic Package Manager, if you don't like using the terminal, is another option to look through the Ubuntu repositories and find the things that you need. I don't mind using snaps, got no problem with them. Some things I just don't want to use a snap. I just want to keep it simple. So, and some of the snaps I'll use. It's not, I don't hate them or anything. I just want to sometimes just go install simple screen recorder, which normally is just like that, and then you can get going with what you want to do. So if you was to search here for what you're looking for, so if I was looking for simple and search for simple, I don't know if it'll find simple screen recorder. You'd have to probably keep scrolling down to S. So you're also going to be going through every little package and dependency that's installed as well. So if you do a simple search, it might take a while to find. Simple screen recorder, there it is there. So if you know, that's the only way you can search if you don't know the exact name of the package. So you can use Synaptic Package Manager to get stuff from directly from the Ubuntu repositories, especially if you cannot find what you're looking for in software because it's not a snap and it's not showing up under the Ubuntu repositories, then you can use Synaptic Package Manager. So let's have another quick look at the software. You've got what's installed, updates are here as well. Software and updates, you could probably change some things here, the sources and so forth. No, it's not. You don't really need to mess around with this too much, to be honest. Additional drivers, you can look for additional drivers in here. So I've got NVIDIA. And I'm using Xorg at the moment, so I'm not using NVIDIA. That's fine. But I can install it from here under additional drivers. Then you've got your categories down here. So last but not least, desktop background. So we've got a different bunch of wallpapers here. For Ubuntu Cinnamon. Okay, and then we have Adwaita, backgrounds, focal. So we've got huge amount of, we've got some Debian ones as well. Some more Debian ones. Okay. Space Fun. That's also a Debian one. Then the wallpapers that young Josh has got here. I'm not quite sure who done those. I don't like to spend too much time on backgrounds, but what I've done is I've spent a little bit of time doing some things. So under pictures, I made a couple of, I don't know why this one's not generating properly. It generates it's generating, it didn't start well because when I put it in here, it was showing half as well. But it's all right there under the file manager, but in here, it's just showing half. It works all right. It's not a problem. So let's just check that out. I cut out some cinnamon pieces and also added the focal fossa to the background with the veins, because these veins I've also cut out to highlight the background color. So I've done all that. I think normally that's black, but I cut them out. And then I gave it a bit more of an Ubuntu color with shading into a cinnamon color. So that's what I've done there. And then what I've done is on this one, I've added the Ubuntu logo in the background behind the cinnamon pieces. So I was just messing around in GIMP a little bit. I've been using some of those with the focal fossa with different backgrounds and so forth for some of my thumbnails as well. So that's what I've been sort of doing as well. Having a bit of fun with that. So that's my official Ubuntu Cinnamon wallpaper. I've already started my own competition. And actually, I probably could have used this logo here for the background as well. So that's another option I might even try, that logo. I didn't realize that logo was there. That's a different kind of logo, because it's got the Ubuntu sign and the cinnamon sign inside of it as well. So it's got a mixture of both. So that's not a bad option either, that one. So I might even try using that one. So as people probably know, I've always been pretty much a cinnamon guy. I've been on the GNOME trail lately, but I'm sort of leaning back to go back to cinnamon, I believe. When you are on GNOME, if you press the Windows button and you search for something, it's the same thing with anything else. The only thing that GNOME does well is searches from when you press the Windows button. It searches for files and applications as well, but Cinnamon is just as good at searching for files. So if I was to look for, say for example, you got the Ubuntu Cinnamon thing there. So if we open up our file manager and do a search for Ubuntu, it searches pretty quickly, Nemo. So I must say it does a very good job at that. Just depends on how you want to use your desktop. Now Linux Mint does a lot of good stuff with their desktop, and I've always liked Linux Mint, and I will always recommend Linux Mint. We'll see how this Cinnamon goes, and I think Josh has done a great job with this one so far. Kudos to the young man for doing such a good job at this point, and hopefully he can continue to pursue this to be an official Ubuntu flavour. If he needs a wallpaper, I'm quite happy to send him a copy. I'll upload it to Google. Where do I normally? Yeah, Google. On my Google account, I think it is, whatever it is, and I can send a link if he wants it. He may not like it, so that's fine. No, I don't take offence if people don't like what I do, because everyone has a different look on things in life. So some people might like it, some people might not like it. So that's the way life is. So I'm going to be running this for a little while and see how it goes. I'm quite impressed with it at the moment. And I suppose the advantage of this one is that it's not a base upon a base upon a base. It's just Ubuntu, which is a base of Debian. And you've got your panel layouts there to help you out. There's no welcome screen or anything. That'll probably take a little while to implement, and I think he was using, because I installed it a couple of weeks ago, I think I installed this. I can't remember now, but he was using the Calamares installer, so that's a little bit different to the rest. So there's now, if this becomes an official flavour, it will be the second one that that doesn't use the Ubiquity, because either does Ubuntu. They use the Calamares installer as well. So that was a look around Cinnamon Remix, hopefully to become Ubuntu Cinnamon in the future, or Kubuntu, or Cinnabuntu, something like that. Maybe we could have a name competition. Who knows? It's so far looking good. I'll continue to test this out and see how we go. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting and informative. And thanks for watching.